Guys, welcome to Street Tutors. Let us learn about India and its relief futures. Class 10, Chapter 1. Brief content we will be learning. I will explain you. That is, we shall learn about relief futures of India. We will learn in subsequent chapters like divisions of the chapters like climate in India and rivers and water resources and people, etc. We will examine with the linkages of relief futures. Let us make a quick division of all the topics in this lesson. They are location, geographical background, major relief features like Himalayas, Indo-Gangetic Plain, Peninsular Plateau, coastal plains, desert, and islands. Location. Let us go with this first topic. Location is nothing but a particular place of position is called as location. We shall see some different types of maps like world map and India map. I'll show you. Now I'm going to show you the world map. This is the world map. This shows the location of India. Here you could see that it is highlighted in the yellow color, and we can see the India map. Here we can see we can see the India in a particular and neat, good manner. And let us know some information about India. India is a very extensive country, and it totally lies in southern hemisphere of the globe. The country mainland lies between 8 degrees north and 50 degrees north longitude, and latitude is 68 degrees with 90 degrees east latitude. Latitude latitude is nothing but it is a measurement of distance from north or south of the equator. Longitude is nothing but it is the measurement to east or west of the prime meridian. Why do we use the term Indian Peninsula? Let us make a quick learn about Indian Peninsula. A peninsula is any landmass which is covered by or else surrounded by water on three sides and land on one side. India is called as peninsula because it is surrounded by Indian Ocean on the south, Arabian Sea on the west, and Bay of Bengal on the east. So we call India as a peninsula. What does geographical location of India provides? The geographical location of India provides is its vast diversity in climatic conditions. This has led to variety of vegetation and life form with advantages of growing many kinds of crops. Its long coastline and location in the Indian Ocean enable trade routes as well as fishing. For India, the central longitude is 82 degrees and 30 inches east is taken as standard meridian time, which passes through Allahabad, and this is also called as an IST. You know, right? IST we will be seeing in mobile phone clocks, etc. IST is nothing but Indian Standard Time, and this is 5.5 hours above the Greenwich Meridian Time. View of Himalayas from the Tibetan Plateau. This here you can see that Himalayas from the Tibetan Plateau. You can also observe one thing. There will be the absence of trees. You can't see the trees, right? Map 2. Indian north, south, east, west extent and standard meridian. This was the last one we saw. And let us come to geographical background. Geological background. Geo means, as we know, Earth. India landmass as a part of Gondwana land originated due to the geographical formations and other processes like weathering, erosion, and deposition. The processes over million years ago have created and modified and physical features as they appear to us today. Weathering. We heard weathering right here. Weathering is nothing but the process of wearing or being worn by long exposure to the atmosphere. Erosion. Erosion is nothing but the geological process in which earthen materials are worn by away and transported by natural forces such as wind or water. Deposition means the action of deposing someone, especially a monarch. Geological background. World landforms originated from two giant lands called as Angara and Gondwana land. Indian Peninsula was a part of Gondwana land. Over 200 million years ago, Gondwana land split into pieces and peninsular Indian plate moved towards northeast and collided the much larger Eurasian plate, that is nothing but Angara land. Owing to collision and immense compression force, mountains evolved through a folding process over millions of years ago. The present form of Himalayas is a result of this process. Let's learn more about geological background. Breaking off from the northern corners of the peninsular plateau led to the formation of large basins. These basins slowly got filled with sediments deposited by Himalayan rivers. We'll learn more about it in next slides. Himalayan rivers from north and peninsular rivers from the south. This created the very extensive flat northern plains of India. The Indian landmass displays great relief variation. The Peninsular Plateau is one of the most ancient land blocks of the Earth's surface. Meanings, I'll let you know this one. The underline, could you see in that last one? I underlined Angara land. Angara land name is given by Austrian geologist Eduard Suess in 1831 to 1914. His span was to a small shield in a north central Siberia where Precambrian rocks were exposed and which was considered to be the nucleus for subsequently developed structural features in Asia. And Gondwana land. Gondwana land was an ancient supercontinent that broke up about 180 million years ago. The continent eventually split into two landmasses we recognize today: Africa, South America, Australia, Antarctica, the Indian subcontinent, and the Arabian Peninsula. Figure 1.2 in textbook. Himalayas, northern plain, and Thar desert as pictured by satellite. This is nothing but satellite view. We'll learn about this one. This is the major topic in our first lesson, that is the Himalayas, the Indo-Gangetic Plain, and the Peninsula Plateau, the coastal plains, and the desert and the islands. We'll learn. Let us go with Himalayas. The Himalayas ranges from the west-east direction and form an arc with a distance of 2,400 kilometers, which differs from 500 kilometers in the western regions to 200 kilometers in the central and eastern regions, and it is broader in western region. There are also altitudinal various across regions. The Himalayas comprise three parallel ranges. These ranges are separated by deep valleys and extensive plateaus. The northernmost range of Himalayas is Himadri. This range is most continuous, consisting the highest peaks with an average elevation of about 6,100 meters above the mean sea level. Great Himalayas are composed of snow and ice cover. You find glaciers here. The seasonal cycle of the accumulation of ice and movement and melting of the glaciers are the sources of the perennial rivers. The portion of the range found south of the Greater Himalayas is called as Lesser Himalayas, which is most rugged relief. These ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed rocks. The height ranges is 3,000 to 3,700 kilometers to 4,500 kilometers. The Pirpanjal and Mahabharata ranges from important ranges of this region. Now let us learn about something more about that one. The Lesser Himalaya ranges consist of famous valley of Kashmir, the Kangara and the Kulu in Himachal Pradesh. This region is well known for many hill stations like Shimla, Mussoorie and Nainital and Ranikhet, etc. covered by evergreen forest. You all know about evergreen forest, right? That is nothing but evergreen throughout the year. These are the four pictures given in our textbook about various parts of the Himalayas and various related to Himalayas. The southernmost ranges of the Himalayas are Shivalings. They are extended over a width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have an altitude varying between 900 to 1,100 meters. These ranges are called by different names in different regions. They are Jammu Hills in Jammu region and Mishmi Hills in Arunachal Pradesh, and Kakar in Assam. These parts consist of thick gravel and alluvial. These valleys lying between the lesser Himalayas and Shivalik ranges are called as dunes, like Dehradun and Kotli Dun and Patli Dun and some of the prominent dunes. Now, the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas is Brahmaputra Valley in Arunachal Pradesh. Beyond the Dihang valleys in the Himalayas that take hairpin bend to south and act as an eastern boundary of India and run through the northeastern states. These divisions are known as Purvanchal Pradesh and mostly composed of sedimentary sandstones. Regionally, Purvanchal Pradesh Purvanchal are known as Patkai Hills and Naga Hills and Manipuri Hills and Kasi and Mijori Hills. The formation of Himalayas influence the climate various ways and act as barriers protecting the great plains of India from the cold winds of Central Asia during severe winter. The Himalayas are region for summer rains and monsoon type climate in the region that are beyond the Western Ghats of India. In its absence, this region would have remained drier. These Himalayan rivers have a perennial flow since these are fed by glaciers and brings a lot of silt, making these plains very fertile. Himalayan mountains. We will see in a PowerPoint manner. Types of ranges of Himalayas are Himadri, Himachal, and Shivaliks. Himadri. Let us learn about Himadri. Himadri is the northernmost range of Himadri. It consists of a loftiest peaks with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains all the prominent peaks. It remaining snow covered throughout the year, resulting in the formation of glaciers and perennial rivers. Himachal. We shall learn about it. Lies in the south of the Himadri and forms the most rugged mountain systems. The ranges are composed of highly compressed rocks and estimated average height is 3,700 to 4,500 kilometers. Some of the more famous ranges are Pirpanjal range and Daula range and Mahabharat range, and it has some of the famous valleys like Kullu and Kangara and Kashmir, and they are also known as their hill stations. And let us learn about Shivaliks. The Shivalik Hills is a mountain range of the outer Himalayas, also known as Manak Parbat in ancient times. Shivaliks literally mean tresses of Shiva. This is a range of about 2,400 kilometers to 1,500 kilometers long, enclosing an area that starts at most from the Indus Valley and ends close to Brahmaputra with a gap of about 50 kilometers between Tista and Raidak rivers of Assam. The width of the Shivalik hills vary from 10 to 50 kilometers. Their average elevation is 1,500 to 2,000 meters. Other spelling variations used include Shivalik and Shivalik originated from Hindi and Nepal word Shivalik Parvat. Other names include Chira and hills of Chira Hills and Mangara Hills. Highest peaks of Himalayas. These are the mountains with highest in the countries. Mount Everest is 8,000. Once you check it, I'll give you 2 minutes time. Let us learn about rivers of Himalayas. They are Indus River, Sutlej River, Jhelum River, and Brahmaputra River. Indus River the Indus is a transboundary of the Asia and Trans-Himalayas of the South and Central Asia. The 3,180 kilometers river rises in the western Tibet, flows northwest throughout the Ladakh and Gilgit-Baltistan regions of Kashmir, bends sharply to the left after the Nanga Parbat Massif and flows south by southwest through Pakistan before it empties into the Arabian Sea near the port city of Karachi. Indus River. Sutlej River. It originates from the southern slopes of the Body Mountain Kailash near the Lake of Mansarovar. This is the Sutlej River, and Jhelum River. It originates from a spring called as Verinag, and it is 80 kilometers south of Srinagar. Here you can see this Jhelum River. Brahmaputra River. It is considered as one of the Asia's greatest rivers of Asia. Here you could see that Brahmaputra River. Now animals, let us see about animals found in Himalayas. We can see snow leopard, giant panda and monal pheasant and magnificently horned argali sheep. Indo-Gangetic Plain. The interaction of three Himalayan rivers like Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra and their tributaries resulted in the formation of Great Northern Plain. In beginning, it was a shallow basin that was gradually filled with a varied alluvial soils. These are rivers brought from the Himalayas. Indo-Gangetic Plain was divided into three parts. They are western part, central part, eastern part. Now western part. It is a part formed by when the Indus and its tributaries Jhelum and Chenab and Ravi and Beans and Satluj flowing from the Himalayas. Most of the Indus River basin is located in the Pakistan and leaving a minor portion in Punjab and Haryana plains in India. This region are also called as Doab features dominates the fertile and between the two rivers. Western part of an Indo-Gangetic plain. Here you could see this in a map. And let us go with central part. Central part is also called as a Ganga plain. It extends from the rivers Ganga to Tista. This part is mainly spread in the states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, partly in Haryana, Jharkhand and West Bengal. Here the Ganga river and the Yamuna and their tributaries are one Son and Kosi, etc. drain. Central part of an Indo-Gangetic plain. Here you could see this in map. Eastern part. It exists of Brahmaputra Valley of rivers of Assam and rivers of Brahmaputra is most responsible for its formation. Himalayan rivers deposit gravel and pebble sediments in a narrow belt of 8 to 16 kilometers width of parallel found to foothills of Shivaliks. The future is known as Babar. It is a porous in nature and small rivers and streams flow underground through Babar and reappear in the low areas of swampy and marshy regions called as terai. These regions also has a thick forest and rich variety of wildlife. Owing to migrations at the India's participation, most of the terai zone has been cleared for agricultural operations. South to terai regions, we find the fine alluvial plain soils, a village in Brahmaputra Valley of Assam. Here you could see this picture. Peninsula Plateau. The Indian Plateau is also called as Peninsula Plateau as it is covered by sea on the three sides. It is composed of old crystalline and hard igneous rocks and also called as metamorphic rocks. Large amounts of metallic and non-metallic minerals are found in the Indian Plateau. It has a broad and shallow valleys with rounded hills. The topography of the plateau is slightly tilted towards east and western and eastern Ghats from the western and eastern edges respectively. The southernmost tip of this plateau is Kanyakumari. It consists of two broad divisions namely called as Central Highlands, Malwa Plateau and Deccan Plateau. On this physical map of India, adjacent to the south of Gangetic Plain and the north of the river Narmada, we can see the Central Highlands. Prominent plateau here are Malwa Plateau and western side are towards the Chota Nagpur. In comparison to Gangetic Plains, the plateau region is dry. Rivers are not perennial and irrigations for second crop depends on the deep tube wells and tanks. Chota Nagpur Plateau is rich mineral sources. Let us see map of Chota Nagpur. Here you could see this shaded region. This shaded region is Chota Nagpur Plateau. Portion of the peninsula plateau lying to the south of Narmada, a triangular landmass, is called as Deccan Plateau. Satpura range forms Deccan Plateau north of, while a Mahadev Kaimur range and portion of the Michael ranges at the eastern edges, Western Ghats and Nilgiris from western edges and eastern edges and southern bodies respectively. Block diagram of Peninsula Plateau. This is the block diagram of Peninsula Plateau and the western Ghats lie parallel to the west coast. Structure of the Western Ghats is continuous with few passes as gateways of coastal plains. The Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. For Deccan Plateau, region of slope is seen. For Western Ghats extend for 1600 kilometers and near Gudalur, Nilgiris join Western Ghats and rise over a height of 2000 meters. The famous hill station is Udagamandalam. It is also known as Ooty, located in Nilgiris. Gudavata is the highest peak of South India. Western Ghats also include Anamalai and Panai and Cardamom Hills. Anaimudi of Anamalai Hills is the highest peak of South Asia. Gudavata, here you could see, right? Peninsula Plateau Ghats and Hills. This is the map of Peninsula Plateau with Ghats and Hills. Eastern Ghats extend from Mahanadi Valley in north to Nilgiris of the south. Eastern Ghats are not continuous, and rivers originate in the Western Ghats like Godavari and Krishna across the plateau and join in the Bay of Bengal. Average height of the Western Ghats exceed 900 meters. Highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Arayakonda at Chindanagapalli, 1680 meters of Andhra Pradesh. And Nallamalas and Velikondas are Palakondas and Sesachala hills are also seen of hill tracts of Eastern Ghats. One of the remarkable features of the Peninsula Plateau is black soils formed of volcanic activity. Here you could see the Anamalai hills of the Western Ghats and the Thar Desert. It is located in the Aravallis and received very low amount of rainfall range at 100 to 150 mm per year. It consists of undulating sandy plain and rock outcrops. It occupies much part of western Rajasthan. It has an arid climate with very low vegetarian cover. Streams appear only in rainy season and disappear soon after. Luni is the only river in this area. Internal drainage rivers fill into tanks and do not reach the sea. A settlement in Thar. Let us see this picture. That's nothing but in that picture we can see the house of people living in Thar. Indira Gandhi Canal is the longest canal in the country that covers 650 kilometers, watering the part of a Thar desert. Hence, several hectares of desert land have been brought under the cultivation. Here you could see this, right? This is the Indira Gandhi Canal. And let us go with coastal plains. Southern part of the Peninsula Plateau is bordered by narrow coastal strips of the Arabian Sea on the west and Bay of Bengal in the east. Western coast starts from Rann of Kutch and ends at Kanyakumari. It is narrower than the east coast. This is uneven and broken by hilly terrain and divided into three parts. They are Konkan coast, Canara coast, and Malabar coast. Let us see about Konkan coast. This is the northern part and it touches the Maharashtra and Goa, Canara coast. This middle part and includes coastal plains of the Karnataka, Malabar coast. This is the southern part, mostly in the state of Kerala. Sundarban mangrove. This is the image of Sundarban mangroves. And let us see about Bay of Bengal plains are wide and larger surface structure. It stretches from Mahanadi in Odisha to Kaveri deltas of Tamil Nadu. These plains from by rivers Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri are very fertile. These are locally named by different names. They are Utkal of Odisha and Sirkar coast of Andhra Pradesh and Coromandel coast of Tamil Nadu. And Indo-Gangetic plain, these deltas are two are agriculturally developed coastal zones and enables the rich fishing resources, and lakes like Chilka in Odisha and Kolleru and Pulikat of Andhra Pradesh and important features of coastal plains. The islands. There are two groups of islands, Andaman and Nicobar, and islands of the Bay of Bengal and Lakshadweep Islands in Arabian Sea. Andaman and Nicobar Islands are elevated portion of the submerged mountain parts from Myanmar mountain Arkan. In Andaman Islands, Narkonam and Beren Islands are the volcanic origin. Southernmost tip of the Nakonbar Island and called as Lakshadweep Islands of the coral region. Total area is 32 kilometers square. This is famous for its great variety of flora and fauna. It is important to note that there is a vast diversity of landforms of India people live. Some areas are irrigated by mighty rivers flowing from the Himalayas and some by rain-fed rivers from Western Ghats and its forests. Many places are located in the river valleys and others in mountains. A Nicobar bird. Coral reefs. Here you could see this, right? This is the coral reef. Thank you guys. And for more information, check it in the description. You could get more on